course, there'll be the negative comment here and there going, why your head so big? Things like that. But that's just because I'm a little person and I got a lot of brains. So I, again, try to focus on the positives more, knowing that that there's a little kid out there who watches me and can say, Mommy, she looks like me, then I'm good.
I'm Joshua Ung, and I've invited 6 youth with disabilities from across the country to meet at a board game cafe near Ottawa to talk about our experiences while we play some games.
I would say I got game because of my positivity.
Arriving from St. John's is Patrick Curtis, an actor with cerebral palsy.
I think I got game because I'm a confident individual.
Gabi De Leon is a Toronto area digital creator with Dwarfism.
I got game because though I am little, I can do big things.
Coming in from West Kelowna, BC, is Austin Dutt, a high school senior diagnosed with autism and ADHD.
I got game because of my competitiveness.
Ottawa-based Bianca Borgea is a track Paralympian with a visual impairment.
I have game because I like to push myself past my limits.
Next up, from Milton, Ontario, is Sophia Ferraro, a creative writing student with PTSD, anxiety, and depression.
I got game because I understand myself and I'm really good at reading people.
Rounding out the group, from Markham, Ontario, is media production student and wheelchair user Tai Young.
I got game because I think I bring chaos all the time, but I manage to make it work somehow.
Today, we're playing Damn Right, Hell No, a game where players react to a statement with a damn right or hell no card, and then explain their opinion. This is Got Game.
A neck tattoo. I'm saying yeah.
You're crazy.
I say yeah. You say yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Go off.
Ty, you explain first.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't get one, but I don't care if someone else does, so.
Oh.
I think the question meant if you wanted.
Oh, if I would?
You, Joshua.
I don't know. I think that for me, if it was behind the ear or something.
Yeah,
That's understandable.
Like, I'm not sure I'd get one.
No,
right
that's
my-
what I thought.
No, I don't want one I don't want one on the front. Like maybe on the side. I'm saying like a tiny one as well, not a big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that if I didn't feel, it would cause me kind of problems in getting professional work. I would be more open to it, but I think that is more the stereotypes of
It
stereotypes.
is definitely the stereotype.
Rather than I think it can look really cool. I think they look good, but yeah. All right.
Okay. Woman making the first move. I'm 50-50 with that.
I know it's never happened to me, so. This is the dream scenario.
Because I have failed. So it's
There's times where I have made the first move, and there's times I'm I don't really like it.
I've done it before, so not my point
Sophia, guess what? Men have to do it. And they fail, and they still have to.
Women have to do it.
Yes.
You feel too?
No, it's not like I failed. It's just that I'd rather not.
I failed many
It's
times.
not like I failed. It's just that I don't know. I feel like
Well,
I'm a romantic at heart, and if I'm a romantic at heart, I'm just gonna.
I'm
too me.
Yeah.
If I love, if I'm so taken over love, I'm okay, I don't care. If you're not confident enough to come up to me, I'll go up to you. But
Yeah.
I'm just scared,
Just
man.
next.
I'm scared to do it always.
I feel like that's really it.
Do you want to pass the cards to Ty, and then I'll ask Gabby a question before we get into another one? Gabby, can you tell us about your disability?
So yes, I have dwarfism. The specific type of dwarfism I have is called achondroplasia, which is the most common form. There are, I believe, 400 types of dwarfism all around the world. I don't know the correct number for Canada, but I know there are about 30,000 little people in the United States. And I actually have average height parents. So that's not uncommon because 80% of little people are born to average height parents. And yeah.
And what's something you do or you have done that you think may surprise average height people?
Guys, I drive. I get into my car and I go places.
Honestly, I don't even have my license, so go on.
It's a great time. It took me a minute. I don't have my full license right now, but we're working on it. But as a little person, I think a lot of people are shocked when I say I can drive, because they're kind of how? You are 3'11", which I am. A great time.
I know how.
How? Well, how do you? Let's see.
There's pedal extenders.
Yes, exactly. So today I'm gonna go in the car, head out and film some TikToks.
Gabi's family is a 2-car household, so she usually drives her dad's car when it's available.
I think my nerves were pretty average about driving. Of course, I had more to think about as a little person because I can't just hop into any car and drive. I started getting nervous in the sense of, will I be able to get the right adaptations? Will they work for me? Will they work for a specific car? Because sometimes you have to get specific pedals for specific cars. But I think as I started to learn and as I was able to get the adaptations, I was able to learn just like everybody else. So those nerves became more average nerves than specifically little person nerves. I have pedal extenders to help me reach the pedals of the car, as well as I have a backrest to push me forward so that my knees kind of hang over, because when I sit in a chair, my knees aren't over the edge of it.
Gabi hopes to get her full Ontario license this summer, but her current license still gives her a lot of freedom.
The ability to drive means a lot to me, I would say, because as a little person growing up in a mainly average height community, if that a majority average height community, as I'm the only little person kind of in the general vicinity, watching your friends take on these milestones, you want to join them. So being able to drive with them, being able to say, hey, let's meet up here, and meeting my best friend somewhere in our cars, meeting our friends, just being able to not be, can you pick me up? Can you pick me up? That person, I love that independence it gives me. And also, I learned that I love just driving.
So, Gabi, did you have any challenges in getting your license?
Yes. Getting my license was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. I don't know why it took me so long to learn to drive. I think it was getting all the supplies I needed. And I started learning when I was 18. And I had practiced on my grandmother's Honda Civic at the time. So I knew it was possible. Like, we tested out the pedals, we tested out like how I would drive when I would go to the class, and everything was good, everything was great. And I had signed up for a class online. I called and I said, hey, I'm a little person and I'm coming to your class, but I have my own supplies. I have my own pedals, so you don't have to worry. So they said, oh, it's fine, it's cool, it's great, amazing. I said, great, we love this. Day one of the class came up, and my dad took me to my first class. And we walked in, the instructor saw me and goes, oh, we can't teach her. We can't teach her. And we were both saying, what do you mean? I called ahead, I told you I had pedals, I brought the pedals with me. Oh no, we can't teach her. And their example was, there was a tall guy here and he couldn't fit in the car. So we can't, that's the other side of the spectrum. You're telling, you're short, he's tall, you both can't fit in the car. What? So they said, oh, we can't teach her. And they showed us the car that they used to practice for the students. And it was a Honda Civic.
Yeah,
now,
I was gonna say.
Bear in mind, it was the exact same car that I had practiced on. So I very much knew that it was entirely possible for me to drive. They just didn't want to try.
Yeah.
But my dad, as a parent of somebody with a disability, for your child to be told they can't, oh, he was so angry. He went to like the city phone book, started looking up all these different instructors, and ended up finding a private instructor who showed up to my house that day. And we did a little test, and she said, I don't see what the issue was. Like, obviously she can drive, why would they do this to you? But definitely, that was the first time kind of in a minute that I was told directly that I basically couldn't do something. Things like education, where you can go to school, like you can go and learn and they can't stop you. But when you're learning from somebody who knows a specific skill, it's kind of like, oh, well, we can't teach you. What do you mean? You're not even gonna try?
You don't want to teach me.
Literally, you don't want the trouble of teaching me? I'm probably better than a bunch of these people that you're about to teach.
Facts.
So that was something that was very interesting to experience.
Got Game returns after the break. Got Game is back.
Do you all feel like your disabilities affect like how you present yourself on social media?
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
I
as long as, like,
barely interact with social media.
Well, like, technically, like, I don't put it in my bio or anything, so no one knows. And mine is very invisible. Like, I've had people come up to me and like actually like say, what? Really? And like they've actually like said, no, you don't have that. I'm like, yeah, I do. Right? But so technically speaking, like to me, it affects me, but like probably not anyone else.
I feel like I kind of have to. because in the sense like I have to work my social media like into it because one, there's not a lot of dwarfism representation in the media, and two, people will comment questions. Now, whether you decide to answer them or not is up to you.
Yeah.
But it's also that social media, you're on social media every day. You might not open a book every day. So it's, I don't know if I would say it's my job because I don't want to say it's my job, but I will use my platform to educate others.
And to
Because
help.
if you're seeing me like, I don't know, at the beach, maybe that's a cute photo, and the next one's like, hey, here's where we can make the beach more accessible.
Right.
Or like, I went to this place, and yes, there's cute photos, but here's how we can make this place more accessible, or here's how I struggled as a little person. And because I have like a physical disability, I can't hide it. So it's kind of similar with the inspiration porn of like, oh my gosh, that outfit looks so great on you. Like, wow, like you're so like,
Bye.
like there's definitely a thing of like
on the you part. Like,
Yes.
when they include the you.
Because love your outfit, cute, great. But it's like, wow, look at you. You look so nice. It depends who it's coming from. Because sometimes it's just people like actually meaning it. I'm like, thank you. But other people's like, yeah.
But you can tell. You can tell when
It's so easy to tell.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabi. So like, how do you use your social media to kind of promote like minority groups as yourself, like a Black woman who has a disability?
For me, again, seeing a lack of like any like BIPOC little people, I always kind of make that like one of my first things I focus on. So, hey, I'm a little person, but also I'm Black, and it's great. And I highlight both of those instead of just highlighting one or the other. And I kind of show my life through that, because something that's kind of, not specifically, but a Black experience is our hair. And I kind of show how I deal with my hair as a little person. You know, for many people with natural curly hair, they will use a hair dryer and a brush to straighten their hair. But for me, with shorter arms as a little person, that takes a lot of effort. It's very tiring. So I find ways to combat that by using different tools to make the job easier.
Can you give us an example, like how you do that?
So, for example, with the hair, instead of using a blow dryer and a brush, I will either use a blow dryer brush combo, so a brush that has the heat in it, or there's a new product that's kind of like, I reference it as a heat vacuum. So it's a product that will suck in your hair with heat. It dries, it straightens, and it's smooth, and that's definitely helped me with my hair care routine.
Gabi got a degree in communication, media, and film from the University of Windsor and is now a digital content creator posting online as Lil Gabi D.
I love creating, hence why I do social media creation now. I love making videos, I love making or taking pictures. I love just being able to make something digitally and be able to put that out for people to see. A lot of it, I think, stems from me wanting there to be more dwarfism representation in the media. So being able to share a little bit of my life of here's how I'm just like everybody else, but then also to share a little bit of education. That's kind of where my happy medium is.
Today, Gabi's shooting TikToks at a local park.
So I'm using my little handy dandy camera here. I stuck it to a pole, and I'm filming as many TikToks as I can. So I am one of those people. TikTok I'm making is based off of another TikToker's TikTok, where she talked about how her children, when they raise their arms above their heads, they don't have any extra space. Just a nice little head hug, and that's it. I think I probably started creating content maybe when I was 13, but I started taking it seriously, I think, when I was maybe 18 to 20, when I had the opportunity to kind of film more, and I had more ideas of what I wanted to do. And I love creating content in the sense that I can be myself, and it also lends into me editing, so I can edit my own stuff and kind of know exactly what I'm putting in. Hey guys, I'm Lil Gabi D, and let me tell you about a ridiculous thing that happened to me while I was on vacation. So I create lifestyle content, so that's a little bit of everything. So I'll do vlog style, so I just went on a trip, I vlogged that, so showing kind of what that's like as a little person. But then also I'll do maybe small clips here and there to kind of play off of maybe TikTok sounds where I can share information. Then he looked at me and said, "Hey, can I put you in my pocket?" I said, "No." I said, "No, sir." I think some of the rewards about putting myself online is definitely getting positive feedback, being able to hear from parents, you know. I have an Instagram and we show our kid your Instagram, and my kid loves you, being able to have that kid see me and enjoy my content. Of course, there'll be the negative comment here and there going, why your head so big? Things like that. But that's just because I'm a little person and I got a lot of brains. So I, again, try to focus on the positives more, knowing that that there's a little kid out there who watches me and can say, Mommy, she looks like me, then I'm good.
I'm in my neighborhood, I'm in my home. If he stumbles upon me, then I gotta call people.
I think it's Gabi's turn, no?
No, it's Ty's.
Oh, okay.
Eating sushi with a fork.
Oh my God.
Okay, what if you don't eat sushi?
Yeah, I don't, so hell no.
If it's are you saying for yourself?
I do
For yourself or for everybody?
For yourself.
For myself, I don't.
I
won't be mad if you do, but
I do eat California rolls, but you can use that with your hands.
No, you gotta learn how to use chopsticks.
No, you need chopsticks. I don't know what to tell you.
Why are you eating with your hands?
Don't eat sushi if you're not eating with chopsticks.
They're always clean.
Ew.
They give you the chopsticks for a reason.
Chopsticks instead of chopsticks.
Whenever I have chopsticks, I always drop it on the floor.
No.
Got Game returns after the break. Got Game is back.
Because you have a visible disability and your lived experience is something that not everyone understands or can relate to. Do you feel that just by your presence you're able to have positive impact, whether that be through advocacy or just showing that there are other kinds of getting around or adapting to things?
I sometimes feel like almost all of the issues that I face, not all, but a large amount of the issues that I face is people being able-bodied and unaware and not treating me with the same respect as someone else. And that tends to be one of the most inhibiting things about having a disability in my life.
We talked about it earlier. It's questions over assumption. Don't assume I can't do it. Ask me how you can help me do it. Ask me what is needed. Ask me anything.
And these things are the reason why so many people don't feel like they can do things. Like, people are just saying stuff, like you said, the importance of language, and people are just saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. So then we don't, but it's time, and social media really has that ability to share and showcase all of those things. Have you got a lot of positive reception?
I have. I posted videos where people have said, you're the first Black little person I've ever seen. So the fact that I can share educational content of, you can drive too, but then also educational content of, hey, little people come in all shades, is really good because I'm educating people through social media. Yeah.
And it's like really amazing that you're doing that because you don't have to, and you are, and you're becoming that example. So I really admire that, and I just want to say that.
It's fun. I'm enjoying it. Some days, the negative comments, but again, it's surrounding yourself with people that you kind of go, look at this, look what this person said, ha 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 ha, delete, block.
Yeah.
Just laugh at it because you don't care.
And it's somebody on a screen who's just jealous, guys. They're jealous that you're succeeding.
Is their mindset, their own mindset, just projecting onto you. And then they see somebody that is completely different than them, doing everything that they can't do, or that they, in their brain, have said to themselves that they can't do. Of course, the jealousy is gonna show up, but it's wrong. It's wrong.
The wrong opinion.
It's not gonna stop me from doing the things that I'm doing, and clearly it affects you that I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and I'm me and you're you. There's a difference. There's a reason why you're on the other side of the screen.
Like, there's a quote that I heard once, and it was like, people that are doing less than you will always try to put you down because you're doing more than them.
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that.
Like, so whenever you always get like those hit, like people are like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like, they're just trying to put you down because they know that you're a successful woman, obviously with a disability, and they're like, oh, so you're not letting that stop you. You're kind of like overcoming that. Like, you know what? I'm gonna prove them wrong. Like, I'm gonna show them who I am.
Like, Gabi, you're a badass. I just wanna...
Thank you. I try.
I need to get back to work. I need to take this car because your mother needs the other car.
Okay.
I need to get rid of
Back at home, Gabi's dad, Mark De Leon, needs to remove Gabi's pedal extenders before he can drive. But it's a bit of a process.
There you go.
You need to be able to do this on your own.
I know, but my arms are too short and my head is too big.
We tried to raise her with a strong mind. to be like everyone else, to look at herself like everyone else. I think even for me, I don't look at her as a little person. In fact, that's a bit of a problem sometimes because I expect her to do certain things that she really isn't physically able to do it. And I said, oh yeah, okay, you really can't reach that.
We gotta look for some quick release pedals.
That way I can do it myself. That's why we just leave them on all the time and I can drive the car all the time.
We're doing that now, but I want to be able to drive a car at some point.
I think Gabrielle's identities came out really early. She's always been really, really spunky, right? You know, we would make videos at home, and there wasn't a camera she didn't love, right? So she's always been upfront with people. She's always been out there. She has a very infectious personality, right? And that's just kind of built as she's gotten older. So she amazes me every single day.
Yeah. Key. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Gabi edits her social media posts in her room at home. Her family has always been a source of inspiration and support.
We are a very close-knit family. We're, I think, a very creative family, whereas myself and my dad, we love cameras, my sister loves writing and singing, and my mom loves crafting and sewing, and she can make any DIY, cooking, she's great. And we're just a very close-knit family.
Gabi is passionate about showcasing everyday life as a Black little person.
Representation is so important for little people. From back in the 1900s, not even further back, we've started seeing little people, our representation, I say with air quotes, was in freak shows. That was not good. Then we moved on to film, where we mainly saw them as Oompa Loompas and Munchkins, which again were mythical and magical, which gave them the connotation of we don't exist, we only exist in these stereotypical places where we help the heroes and we're there and we're just there to be kind of the comedic relief. And then we ventured into the representation of the 2000s, where we got reality shows with families that were mainly white families. And yes, I had that growing up, which was great to be able to see little people living their everyday lives, but I never saw anybody that looked like me. I never saw a young Black woman who's a little person living her life. And because there is not that representation, people don't think of dwarfism as something that's multicultural, like multicolor. They just have seen little people that are white.
To Gabi, what do you think would be the ideal end goal and your dream to see on screens for little people?
My ideal end goal would be, for on screen, would definitely be to have a little person, and at this point, of any color, of any race, in young adult or in kids programming, and have a fully rounded story. So, as a teen, what is it like in high school as a little person? Or as a kid, as you're on the playground, what's that like? And not necessarily highlighting fully that they're a little person, having the little bits in there, educating kids along the way.
Something like sort of like young Sheldon in a way.
Even that, like any show where we could, any show, not even where we can, but any show, they can insert a little person as any character.
Got Game returns after the break. Got Game is back.
Gabi, you mentioned how your dad can be somewhat overprotective at times. Can you tell us more about that? How does that affect you? And do you think that he can necessarily relate to your experience that you're going through?
Well, first off, I am the first and only little person in my entire family. So there's no one in my inner circle that can relate, whether it be my mom, my dad, or my sister. And he definitely is overprotective because he's a parent. You know, going out in public, I know people are staring at me, and I've gotten so used to it that I block it out. But as a parent, he's going to be overprotective because I'm his child. He's not going to want anyone to see me any differently. He's not going to want anyone to say any things to me. So if we're both at a store and I notice someone staring, I'm just going to ignore it and move on. But he will be the one to say, oh, you want to ask her a question? May I help you? Things like that. And I'll say, and it's the child embarrassment of, Dad, stop it, leave him alone, it's okay, I saw
Bodyguard activity.
Literally.
Yeah, you got your own bodyguard, yeah.
Being able to kind of say, Dad, it's fine. And I'll even look at him and go like, hey, you didn't need to say that. I saw them, it's fine. You know, but he'll always do that because he wants them to see me just like everybody, just like the average person, see me as an average person.
How well do the rest of you feel that your parents connect with what you're going through with your disability?
Like, I love my mom. I love my mom so much, but like, she goes like, I understand. Don't. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. She like, that's the one thing. Like, it's nice of her, but like when my mom like when I talk to her about my disability, she's just like, oh, I understand. Don't like, but she doesn't have it. I'm like, I sorta, but like no, at the same time, you know. So I can kind of relate to that in a way. Yeah.
Like for me, my mom, she's super overprotective, like more overprotective over my dad. Like my dad, he's more like, just let her be, like, let her do her thing, let her go be free. My mom's like, no, she's gonna get hurt. But it's also like, she doesn't understand like what my disability really is. Like she can only like get what she's told by the doctors, obviously, because like she can't see through my eyes. Like no one can. So it's like, you don't have my eyes, so you don't really understand what I'm able to see and what I can't see. And there's sometimes where mom's like, oh, she can't see that. And I'm like, yes, I can. And she's like, oh, really? So it's like, you want to be protective, but it's like you don't know what your child's limit is in that situation.
Yeah, so my father was a bit overprotective for sure. He, you know, he didn't really want me to do too much. My mother was actually the one who was kind of opposite of Bianca. My mother was the one who pushed me out of my comfort zone far, far, far more than my father ever did. My mother was like, you're gonna get off the Jesus computer. I don't care what you does, but you're getting off to Jesus computer. So you got two options. You can either A, you can do drama, or B, you can do student council. So I decided to do both. Oh. Didn't really like student council, dropped out of it a year, but obviously I really liked drama, and I really liked doing the theater, so then I did it, you know, throughout the rest of my life. But I wouldn't have done that if it was not for my mother.
No, I definitely feel that, because like my mom, she wanted me to do something kind of more like simple. She's like, you could do piano. Like, don't worry, I like learning the piano. That was fun. But I was like, I want to go do gymnastics and flip around. And she's like, no, that's dangerous. Let's just do the piano. My dad's like, just let her do gymnastics. It's not that bad.
I think it's interesting what you said, because yes, my dad's overprotective, but that's more so with other people. But he's not necessarily overprotective with me as a person, because he'll push me to do things. I'm like, I don't want to. It's like, go talk to that person. I don't want to. Listen, just go there and go over there and just do different things. But when it comes to other people kind of encroaching on my peace, that's when he gets involved.
Now, granted, I think it was a bit of a different generation. My father, you know, he was a baby boomer. And during that time, if you had a disability, you were not seen and you were not heard. And I think that that attitude carried over with him a little bit. Not necessarily that he didn't want me going anywhere, but he wanted me in a like protective shell a little bit. He didn't really want me to get hurt or anything like that. So he didn't want me to do the physical things that he did. So now in saying that, there was a couple of odd exceptions. Like I had a friend with me. I was riding a motorcycle with my father and he'd popped a wheelie. And that was the last time I ever did. I ever had a motorcycle ride with my father, but you know, so there was one exception to that. But in regards to like walking or say riding a bike or something like that, he was very much against it, which was very odd in a way.
Patrick, do you want to read one of the cards now?
A partner who hits the snooze button over and over.
Absolutely not. Let me fucking sleep.
My roommates hated me.
No, honestly, it's so easy to turn it off.
I know, but I kind of just forget and I have to wake up, so I'm like, eh.
But like, why are you snoozing? Like, do you have a job to get to? Go to your job.
Get your ass out of bed and turn
Why did
it
you
off.
put an alarm in the first place?
Because I had to wake up.
You know?
You just like hitting that thing?
Like one, twice.
I give up after like the third time.
If
I'm
you
like,
have
okay,
somewhere
we're
to
done.
go, it's not up to me to wake you up.
For real.
I give up at like the third try. I'm like, okay, we're done now.
Okay.
All right, Sophia, your turn.
Sleeping with socks on. Okay, that's a wholesome one.
Sleep is sleep. I don't really care.
What do you mean? Okay, both of you need to answer.
Yes.
Both of you
Yeah,
need to
because
answer
like,
right
it's
now.
so cold, so I was very soft.
You have a blanket for a reason.
Yeah,
I tuck
not
myself
like this, though.
Honestly, sleep is just sleep. I don't care.
Okay,
Like, my dogs get too warm if I'm
Like, if I have socks, I have socks. If I don't, I don't.
If I wear socks, I feel like I'm in intoxicated with heat. I'm like, stop.
Fall asleep.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
but then
I
again-
physically get mad in the middle of the night if I accidentally fall asleep with them, and I have to like, take it off and then like throw it
You're
away.
about to fall asleep and like you have them on. Yeah.
But then
No,
again, I
like-
make my place like super cold, so like it's like negative.
Okay, that's.
No,
So I'm
that's
like
crazy.
it's freezing. And
Why would you do that?
Because I can't sleep when it's warm, so it has to be freezing, and I need to be like warm. So
Okay,
think
so
it's-
igloo. Okay.
yeah, igloo. My house
It's
is
better.
literally
I
igloo.
agree, though. I agree because it's better to sleep when it's cold than to sleep when it's like really hot. Like I feel like the heat will annoy
Yeah.
you when you're sleeping.
Exactly.
God Game returns after the break. God Game is back.
Okay, so I have a question. You are someone that I believe the moment I met was extremely beautiful with their personality, like very out front and energetic. And that was the first thing that I saw. I genuinely like seeing people for who they are. And so I'm pretty sure you can feel that and you can tell that through different things in your life and obviously experiences in your life. So my question is, what in your life has made you get that? You know, like what are the experiences in your life that have allowed you to just know and have that security of people who see you for who you are and people who see you for your disability?
You're gonna make me cry. I almost started crying. I think what made me like that was definitely the people that I was surrounded with from a young age. So my parents, my family, my sisters, my sister, singular, and even like the kids I went to school with. Because thankfully I can say what a lot of little people can't is I didn't necessarily experience bullying. So I got to kind of grow that confidence of being myself throughout my life. And even I was treated so well, whether it be because I was a little person or just because they were seeing me like everybody else, that I was allowed to grow the confidence. It was never struck down in me. So that kind of gave me the confidence to continue on and to meet new people and to kind of share that. And I know that there are other little people who unfortunately don't have that experience. So I kind of take that upon myself to say, okay, because I was in a good place, now I'm going to go show people kind of who little people are. I'm going to share myself. I'm going to share my stories. And it's definitely how I was raised and given permission to grow in that confidence instead of being struck down.
Genuinely feel like you're unapologetically you, no matter who is watching, when they're watching. And that's honestly something that I admire.
Thank you.
Kind of what he was saying, you know, it's very, very, like, I just seeing you as you and being yourself, it's so comforting because, you know, so it's so comforting because, you know, all of us here, we've all had some sort of struggle with a disability. And just you being yourself, you came in, first time I saw you, you were just like all smiles, you didn't give a damn about who or what or whatever. And you just came off like super happy of who you are and like super proud of who you are. And it's just like, you know, like, wow, you know, like you want to be around those people in your life. Those are the people that you want to be in with your life, you know?
But we've been through so much together.
One person who plays a huge role in Gabi's support system is Megan Clark, Gabi's best friend who has known her since elementary school.
Gabi is just a ball of energy. She always has information for me, whether it's off TikTok, off her YouTube videos. Always tell me the latest thing about celebrities, whatever it is she's been following, watching.
But beyond her friend group is where Gabi is often made to feel different.
I think I have felt different sometimes, but very rarely, because I was given this you can do anything attitude and given that mindset, I didn't necessarily think about it as often. But the outside world is really kind of where I think I see myself as different the most because of the pointing and the staring and the comments. It was always been an issue, but it was something that I kind of just had to deal with. Like everybody learns how to walk, learns how to talk. I learned how to deal with people staring. And because everywhere I go, someone's gonna look, whether it's for a second, whether it's for a minute, whether they're gonna make a comment, whether they're not looking and maybe the store clerk says, oh, you're so like cute, you're so small, even though I'm fully a teen or a grown adult, I'm used to it now. It's kind of a given. But I hope that by going out in public, as much as I do within my town, that people start to get used to me, which I feel like they are because I go to the same places all the time. So people eventually start to get used to me and then hopefully I can educate them about dwarfism.
All right, guys, lock in. Skydiving.
I value my life.
Wait, how high? though? Wait, how high? How high?
What?
What do you mean how high?
Okay.
How high? Like, because there's different heights of skydiving. How high?
Jumping out of a plane in general is a no.
Are you saying like jumping out of a plane or like say like off a mountain skydiving?
Interpret it how you will.
However you want.
Like if you're in a plane, you jump out.
You're in a sky and you're diving into the sky. There is nothing beneath you.
I'm just no.
No.
I'd rather bungee jump.
I'm 100% yes.
Yeah, me too.
If it was a
Some days I'm like, yes, let's do it. Other days I'm like, why?
I'm afraid of heights, so it's a no for me.
I think that like my mom likes to joke because I'm visually impaired, I have no fear of heights. So like, skydiving to me, it's like, oh, I don't know where the ground is. Let me just jump anywhere. Like that's.
Wouldn't it be scarier? Because you can't even see the ground.
I feel like it would because like it would happen so fast. You'd be like, oh my god. It's like you just
I don't know.
panic.
I did cliff jumping and it was pretty. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. So I think I definitely do.
Well, like wouldn't you like see the outline of the ground though?
Once you're close to the ground,
Like,
yeah.
you see the ground.
Like you see the ground.
Like I would
but,
see the ground, but I don't like my depth perception is off with my visual impairment. So I feel like, oh, like, it's not that bad.
So like, what about this then? Like, what if like you're?
Yeah, I don't
what if you see a bunch of like
snap.
grass? What if you see a bunch of grass?
All right.
That's one. That's one.
Landing, yeah.
God Game returns after the break. God Game is back.
I wore the wrong set of shoes for this. There's going to be so much sand in my socks.
Gabi's always experimenting with video and photography and often uses her best friend Megan as her subject. Distractions like rock skipping are all part of the fun.
Me to go first?
I would say to other people with a disability who wants to start content creation, do it. Whether it's a small video you post at first or whether it's just a picture, do it. And also learn to have a tough skin because people will come and they will spread hate and they will say things. Just dust it off because you are doing something you love. If you love it, don't let anyone stop you.
Okay, let's get some pictures. Let's do this way because of the sun.
I think a lesson that I've learned from a disability is that anything is possible, but also things, if you want something, it's hard work. And I think it's taught me to be inventive. If I can't reach something, okay, where's the longest stick? You know, where's the nearest thing I could step on? And things are hard, you know, it's not gonna be easy living as a little person. I'm gonna go through trials. I've gone through trials and I know I'm gonna go through them in the future. And again, with being innovative and taking these steps to do everyday things, it's not just simple. It's not just a 1-2. It's gonna be hard because it might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So being able to learn those key things has definitely helped me to go through life.
These are so cute. You are going to love these.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about people with dwarfism is that we are not as independent as we are. I always like to say that little people can do anything average type people can do, just in a different way. So you might think, oh, well, you're little, you can't drive. Yes, we can. Oh, you're little, you can't wear the same clothes as your peers. Yes, we can. You can't, whatever that can't, we definitely can and we will if given the opportunity. If you give us a moment to think, okay, I'm gonna cook, here's how we're gonna do it, step 1, 2, 3, it's done, you know? Don't believe that because we are shorter, we cannot do the same things you can.
Do you feel that people treat you differently because you're a little person?
I think people who don't know me treat me differently. But there's one side where it's kind of infantilizing little people. So kind of, are you okay? How are you? Is everything like, do you wanna? There was one time where I was by the lake with my grandmother and my sister, and a random woman was walking her dog, and she came by and she was like, hi. Oh, like, you know, I love little people, or something like that. I watch Little People, Big World on TV. Can I give you a hug? And I did not know this woman.
Yeah, but like, bro, I'm not a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, not yet. But for her to kind of almost take pity on me in a way or try to relate to me of, oh, I've seen these random people that I have met them, but still, but you don't necessarily know, and wow, you're so inspirational, can I give you a hug? Was very odd. I don't know about y'all, but though I have my bad days when it comes to my disability, I feel like it makes me interesting. So I wouldn't change it because yes, I'm very noticeable in public, and yes, I can't run away from everybody because they will definitely see me down the road. It's like, oh, that under 4-foot girl, yeah, she's all the way over there across the bay, you know?
You're saying they pinpoint you.
Though I have my struggles, I think it's like that little like sprinkle that makes me so interesting.
I definitely agree with that, especially because like with mine, it's like glass doors and me are enemies. So it's like, or like glass windows. Like not everyone just runs in, like walks into stuff. Like so, I'm like, you know what? That just makes me interesting. Or
Yeah, like learning to love oneself is a journey. Let me tell you, we always nitpick at ourselves. We always say, okay, and then compare ourselves to others. So it's, oh, like my hair is nice, but I wish I had her eyes. Oh, this is nice, but I wish I had this person's this. And I think that also kind of extends when you have a disability, because there are those days where you're like, I wish I didn't. But I think it's this interesting balance where you will wish to be different, but you also gotta love and appreciate who you are, because you were put in your body for a very specific reason. And it's a journey to learn to love yourself. And I don't think you ever necessarily stop that journey up until however old you get. But on that journey, take the time to kind of be like, okay, today I love myself entirely. Maybe tomorrow it'll change, but today it's me and I love me.
There's this quote from a book I remember when I was younger I read, and it made me cry, and I love it, and I have it. It goes something along this line, because I don't remember exactly to the T how it goes, but it's, you will find love in people who make you love yourself more. I feel like now I've learned that even when I'm in the most horrible, like heartbreaking moments of my disability, I'm like, okay, I'm fully feeling it. Like I'm fully feeling whatever emotion I am. And it's such a big step from before when I was younger and I didn't want to have my disability, that I wouldn't feel it. But the moment that I started to understand myself, love myself, understand my disability, learn about my disability, give myself that compassion that nobody ever gave me before, was the moment that I could accept my disability and genuinely, and when there was any moment in my disability that was horrible and that it hurt physically, mentally, etc., I would enjoy it. Like, not enjoy the pain, but understand it and have a moment of clarity when it comes to that disability and being like, okay, I have this disability, and honestly, it's part of who I am, because without it, I wouldn't be feeling the amount of emotions that I do.
Thanks for sharing, Sophia. That's great. Austin, you ready?
Okay, so this one's a good one. Okay, brushing your teeth before eating breakfast.
Okay, where am I?
Oh wait, I forgot the card.
Where am I?
You're at your house. You're at your house in your bathroom. At your house.
I'm at my own house?
At your own house.
What? No. Elmo's very strong. Elmo's like more like a, just, no. I will brush them right after, but I don't want minty toast. I don't want minty eggs. Listen,
girl,
I run down, I don't talk to anybody. I go and I eat and I come back upstairs and you've never seen me.
I took to my breakfast, no.
I like the hotel. I literally just saw you like go to like the.
I brushed my teeth. That was specific.
My toothpaste isn't minty. My toothpaste is like a natural paste.
Like I need to get one of those.
Those are the ones you need to get. I don't feel it when I brush my teeth in the morning, and literally when I wake up, I just can't. It's like I have to. My mom is a dentist. Like
I will avoid people, so they avoid me, and then I'll grab food and I'm gone. You said no. You go ahead.
No, I agree. I have breakfast and then I brush.
Yes.
In any case,
My point is just brush your teeth.
That was really fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed Damn Right or Hell No. Gabby, it was so nice getting to know you this episode. And that is God Game.
Producer, Tim Alp. Associate producer and host, Joshua Ung. Created by Joshua Ung through AMI's apprenticeship program. Written and story edited by Maureen Carter. Director of photography, Benjamin Dion. Editors, Caitlin Martell, Suzanne Hancock. Integrated described video specialist, Ron Rickford. Supervising producer, M. Williams. Copyright 2024 Accessible Media Inc. Produced for AMI by Mountain Road Productions.
An AMI original production.